All right, guys, in the next series of videos, we're going to be talking about a bit of a pain point subject for a lot of agencies, but it's an important subject nonetheless, and that is A2P verification. Now, A2P verification, what it is it is actually the carriers that decided, hey, we need to stop spam texting within our ecosystem. So a lot of this is America based. So if you're in the US, this is an absolute must. If you're outside of the US, it's not necessarily an absolute must, but I highly recommend it. So basically the concept here is anytime you are texting a American phone number, it doesn't matter what carrier they're from, the carriers have put regulations and restrictions on what types of text messages you can send. And every single text message that you send must be part of a consent message, meaning somebody opted in and said that you can text them, and then you can go ahead and text them. And so there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of regulations around this. And so over the next 4 or 5 videos here, I'm going to walk you guys through how to properly set up your account so that your A2P registration goes through. So we're going to be talking about setting up your privacy policy and your terms of service in your sub accounts. We're going to be talking about forms and surveys, how to structure those, set those up so that you make sure that your consent forms are in there, and then how to set up your funnel, because you need to have links to your privacy policy and your terms of service. And then we're going to get into the big piece, which is the actual A2P registration itself. We're going to be providing you a document that you guys can walk through all of this stuff so that we can kind of check all of the boxes to make sure that you get your A2P registration done. This has been a pain point, like I said, for a lot of different agencies where their A2P registration fails. And so we're going to do our best to walk you guys through exactly the steps that we follow every single time that get our accounts verified every single time. So stick around. Next set of videos are boring, but you absolutely need to know everything that we're about to share in these videos. So stay tuned. All right, guys, throughout this series of the training, we're going to be following this document to a T. Now, the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to download this affiliate link right here. This is an affiliate link that's going to give you access to our default terms and services, privacy policies, subscription agreements, all of those types of things. Now, I need to be very, very clear here that our privacy policies and terms of services are a generalist privacy policy and terms of service. So you need to make sure and verify with your own legal teams, if you have them, that you can use these and that they cover you for all of the different things that we have to offer with Highlevel. Again, this is a generic piece of content where you can now have access to a default terms of services agreement that you can use pretty much across most accounts. We use it for all of our clients to get them registered. So start with this one, and we're going to walk you guys through in the next set of videos kind of how this is structured and how this is set up so that you can get your accounts A2P verified. Now, what's really, really important, guys, is that in our opinion, everybody needs to do A2P verification. What it's primarily for is United States-based companies. But if you are in, for example, I'm in Canada and I text US clients, and so we need to be A2P verified if I'm going to be texting US people, period. So we highly recommend that you do this regardless of what country you're in or who you're texting. It's just going to protect you across the board, no matter what. So everybody needs to do this. But specifically in this video, what we're going to be talking about is the business registration. How do you set this up and how do you go about properly registering your business? Because this is step 1 in terms of what often fails the most for people when it comes to their A2P registration. Okay, so I'm not going to read this verbatim. I'm just going to show you guys exactly what you need to do to go in order to get your businesses registered. So if you go into your account settings, you're going to have your business profile. This business profile is directly what gets sent to the carriers when it comes to the A2P verification. So let's walk through what all of these fields are and then how you actually need to fill them out in order to make sure that this gets 100% completely verified. So first of all, your friendly business name, this field actually does not matter. This field is just the internal sub-account name for this business. Okay, this does not really get shared from an A2P perspective. This legal business name, however, does. So again, this is just going to be your friendly name. That's going to be what it's going to show up in as in your Highlevel account. But what we now need to do is we need to register the legal business name. Now, one question that I get asked a lot is, hey, I've got one business, but I've got multiple sub-accounts that operate inside of Highlevel. Can I use the same business information to register multiple sub-accounts? Yes, you can. We ourselves have 5 different businesses all registered to the same corporation. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in this particular case here as well. So what is the legal business name? This is going to be the legal business name that is written up on your registered documents for your business. Now, every country is a little bit different. I'm in Canada, and so I don't have an LLC. I have a corporation. So regardless, Rhino Mouse Marketing Inc. is the name of our corporation. And again, I want to make sure it's very clear that this is the exact same as it's registered on your business registration. So Rhino Mouse Marketing has a capital R and a capital M. If I don't put a capital M here, it doesn't match. And so I'm just trying to get the point across that you need to be bang on, 100% accurate for absolutely everything. Okay. Now the business website, what we're actually going to use here is the local website for this sub account that we're going to be registering with the campaigns. So if I go over here, I've got the masterclass.joinghlmastery.com. So I'm going to copy that over here and we're going to paste that in there. So that is going to be the website. Business niche is, in this particular case, we're a software company, but if you're working with roofing companies, make sure that you put the right business niche in here. Okay. Now we're going to go down to the business information, and this is where the rubber hits the road when it comes to the registration process. So pick a business type. Well, I am a corporation. So if you're a limited liability or a nonprofit or a partnership, you can put those things in there as well. So this is going to be your LLC. Our company is a corporation. What is our business industry? We are in software. So I'm going to try to find that industry. And it's always a bit of a pain in the butt to find the right ones. Then they don't really have one here for online. So let's just do online here for now. Now, what is your business registration ID type? So they've got several different ones in here. Your US EIN number is going to be the most common, especially for those of you registering in the US. I have a Canadian corporation number, or a CBN is what it's actually referred to. And then you've got your Great Britain company number, Australia, India. You've got all of these different registration numbers. If you don't have any of those, you're going to select other. I will warn you though that if you don't have an EIN and you're trying to register in the United States, it's going to be very difficult. So I highly recommend that you get an EIN for your business, or make sure that your clients get an EIN. Most of the time our clients have had them, so we haven't really had to worry about that. Now, what we often do when we're setting this up for our clients is we actually ask them to send us their business registration information so that we can copy everything verbatim into here to register their business. But in this case, I'm going to register my own company again. It's a Canadian corporate number. It's actually called a CBN in Canada, but that's fine. Now we're going to need to add our business registration number here. So I'm going to go and get my business registration number and put it in here. Just give me one sec. All right, so there's my business registration number there. And then you're going to say, what is the region of operation for your business? Now, we operate out of Canada and the US, so that is going to be our business information. And again, if I was to send you my CBN corporate information, this is exactly what you would see on it as well. So we're going to update that information here. And then the next thing that we need to update and make sure that it is bang on exactly as it's registered is the address information. And so obviously 123 Fake Street is incorrect. So I'm going to blur this out, but I'm going to put my actual address information in here so that it matches 100% what is on our Canadian business registration. You're going to have to do this with your EIN as well. So I'm going to pause this video and fill out my address. All right, so the address is now complete. Platform language, this is just an internal setting, so you don't have to worry about that. Outbound communication language for custom values is also going to be English, like so, and we're going to click update, and that has updated the address information as well here. Now, this part is incredibly important. Authorized representative name, you need to put the name and contact information of somebody who is actually registered with that company. And oftentimes if it's a sole proprietorship or an LLC, it's going to be, you know, an owner operator type situation. But in this case, I am the president of my company. So I'm going to put my actual contact information in here, which will also be blurred out because I don't want you guys calling me. Job position, I am the director technically, although even though it shows president on the registration, but that's fine. And then the phone number for contact information for this particular person is going to go into here, and then we're going to update our information. So there you go, guys. That is step number 1, and that is your business profile settings. This stuff needs to be 100% correct. And looks like I actually didn't save this, so I'm gonna have to go back and do it again. But make sure that your legal business name, your business email, and your business phone number are real, that they match what is on your business registration information. Make sure that your business information is correct. If you're a corporation or a LLC, nonprofit, etc., make sure that's correct. Make sure you put your EIN or your CBN or whatever other registration numbers you have in here. Your business regions of operation, your address information, and your authorized representative information all needs to be 100% correct, as it would be on the business registration. Getting your privacy policy, your terms of service, and we've added a couple more bonus ones into here just to cover your butts as much as humanly possible. But again, I'm going to stress that these are default settings and structures that we use. You need to consult your own legal team to make sure that this is all accurate for your business or your clients' businesses. But we use these for all of our clients, and they seem to work quite well. And so we've never had any issues with it. So go ahead and download this snapshot into your Highlevel account, and then you can load it in to the sub account that you're building in, which I've already done. And so we're going to go into that account, and you're going to see that we have this funnel right here. It's going to be your terms of service funnel right here. So this has a privacy policy, a subscription agreement, a terms of use, cookie policy, and acceptable use policy all built into it. And there are a handful of custom values, which we're going to cover in another set of videos on what do custom values do, but you guys are going to get a little bit of a sneak peek right here. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to click edit just so I can show you guys what fields are in here or what custom values are in here. First of all, we put a custom value for a logo. So the company's logo will be on this page once you set that up in the custom values. And then we're going to use the location name as the default. And then more importantly, we use this custom value for the account domain right here. And so this is going to be really, really important to make sure that all of these buttons and links to your privacy policy, your terms of service, and all of that sort of stuff actually work, is going to use and leverage these custom values here. So custom values, account domain. So let's start there. Let's go back and we're going to get our terms of services all linked up properly. So first things first, we're going to go to our settings, and we're going to use the account domain that we added in the previous videos to this funnel. And we're just going to go ahead and click save. Okay, so now that this domain is on here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to copy this right here, which you can get this from your domains. You can get this from everywhere. We're going to go into settings, and we're going to go to custom values. We're going to go and find that account domain right here. We're going to edit this custom value, and we're going to paste it in here. And then make sure that you don't put that slash in there. If you have the slash in there, it's going to break the paths. So there you go. There is our domain. We're going to get rid of the HTTPS, and we're going to click on update. So now what does this actually do? Well, what that actually does is it changes that custom value on that page. And so therefore the page paths that you have on the funnel that go to all of the different agreements are all linked together. So again, we've got the page path for the privacy policy, we've got the page path for the subscription agreement, and we've got the page path for all of these different ones. And so the custom value being this is going to automatically redirect to those pages. Now let me show you what this looks like in real life. Let's go back to the privacy policy, and we're going to open up the images. So again, there's no logo here because we didn't put the logo URL, but this right here is the friendly name of the business, so the location name. And then if we go down here, we've now got the location of our cookie policy. So I can now click on this and actually go to the cookie policy itself, right? So that's why we use the custom values for all of this stuff. And again, we're covering most of the stuff in here for this. So that's how you set up this funnel. Now in the next set of videos, we're going to show you all of the areas that you need to actually add, your terms of use, your privacy policy, so that when you register your funnel or your website or however you're collecting people's information, you can include these on those areas. So stay tuned for the next set of videos where we're going to do forms and surveys. It's really quite simple, but you need to know where to look and you need to know where to put it. But step number 1 is making sure that you've got your domain linked to these service agreements so that we can now link them to all of the other things, surveys, funnels, forms, for your A2P registration. All right, guys, so your next steps in this process is to make sure that you've got your privacy policy and your terms of use agreements linked to your forms and your surveys. So the idea here is anytime you are actually asking for somebody's phone number in a form or a survey, you need to have links to your privacy policy and your terms of use in that form so that when you go to register, they can see that you actually have an opt-in message as well as links to your privacy policy and your terms of use. So what I like to do in these situations to make my life a little bit easier is I open up two different tabs. So tab number one is going to have my funnel, which gives me access to all of my page paths and links. And then I'm going to have the second one, which is going to be access to the forms. So I'm not going to do anything fancy here, but I am just going to create a form. The process is virtually identical when it comes to surveys. So we're just going to do a form and we're going to start from scratch here, just to kind of show you guys where all of these settings are inside the forms. So like I said, anytime the phone number field is on the form, you are by default going to have this consent message, and you are by default going to have your privacy policy and your terms of service hyperlinks right here on the form. So in this particular case, we've got to add the phone number that we've added to the sub account into here. So we actually have to publish the phone number that we're using, excuse me. So let's go, am I in the other tab over here? Yeah, there we go. So let's go into settings. Let's go to phone numbers. And let's grab the phone number that we added to the system. So there's the default number right there. We're going to copy that. We're going to go back into our form. And this is your text editor for that form right there. So we're going to just copy this and we're going to paste our actual phone number in there. And this opt-in message is generally more than good enough. So we've got that. Now we're going to update our privacy policy and our terms of service on the form itself. Now these are just hyperlinks. So if you hover over your privacy policy and you click on your settings right here, you can create the hyperlink for this. And this is just using the URL for example. But in this case, we're going to go grab our privacy policy domain and path. We're going to copy that. We're going to come over here and we're going to paste it into there and hit confirm. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with our terms of service. So we're going to hover over the terms of service. We're going to hyperlink it, and then we're going to go back to our funnel. We're going to grab our terms of use. Oops, don't want to copy all of it. Copy that and paste it into here. Now we've got our privacy policy and our terms of service directly linked. If you wanted to add more to this, you absolutely can, but there's really not much need once you've done these two things. So update your consent form with the actual phone number that you're going to be using with your A2P when people fill out a form, and then you're going to have links to your privacy policy and your terms of service in here as well. All right, guys, so next up on the list of things that we've got to do to get ready to do our A2P verification is we need to make sure that our privacy policy, terms of services, and any other agreements that we need to have displayed are actually on the funnel or website itself. Now, I'm not going to build a fancy website. I'm just using a template to show you guys exactly how this works. So if you're using templates or building templates for your clients, you're going to want to add this to it. So again, following the same structure that we did with the forms and surveys in the previous video, I'm going to have two tabs open. So one tab is going to have access to my links so that I can just quickly copy and paste them. And then the other one is going to be our funnel itself. So again, I just grabbed a template here. I'm not doing anything fancy, but we're going to go in and we're going to edit the template, and we are going to update the different areas of this template that we actually need to update. So first and foremost, we're going to scroll to the very bottom. So this is where typically you're going to see your privacy policy and your terms of service here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go and hyperlink our privacy policy again, grab the hyperlink, and we're going to come over to our privacy policy funnel, and we're going to just copy this URL again, and we're going to hyperlink it into here. And I always recommend that you do new window. Don't let people get off of the main website that you're supposed to be on. And then we're going to hit save. So that is now a hyperlinked privacy policy on the website. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do terms of service. So again, we're just going to hover over that. We're going to click on the hyperlink button, and we're going to go grab our terms of use, copy that, and we're going to paste it in there. And we're going to do new window again in here, and we're going to click save. Now I'm going to do one more thing. Now this is going to be also covered in the funnels and websites portion of this training, but I'm going to show you guys how to kind of make this a little bit easier for yourselves to get this onto every single page that it needs to be on for your client sites. So I'm going to kind of hover over the section here and I'm going to click save, and I'm going to name this section footer / privacy policy. So it doesn't matter what name you give it, but we're going to add it to the global section. What a global section is a global section just means that anywhere that this section is on a website, it will be updated or modified no matter what page you change it from. So as long as this footer is on every single page, I can just go to one page, edit it, and it's going to update on every single page on the website. So we're going to go ahead and click save. We've now got our global section saved. We're going to hit save and publish up here so that our website is ready to go. Now we're going to use this button and we're going to go to the second page in this funnel, and we're going to make sure that our global footer is here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to delete this current one. We're going to come over here. We're going to add elements. We're going to move the loom thing out of the way, and we're going to go and we're going to add a global section. So there's our footer and privacy policy there. We're just going to drag that in and drop it on the bottom. So there you go. Now our global section is on both the main page and the appointment page, and then we can just hit publish here, and then we can go add it to the last page as well. And then you're basically done. Your website's ready to rock and roll. Your footer is activated and it's got all of your privacy policy and terms of use on your website right here. Now we're going to hit publish again. Now there's one last thing that I want to show you guys with the funnel, because we created an opt-in form, and that opt-in form has our privacy policy and our terms of use on it. And so we need to make sure that we're using that form in this funnel or website. So we're going to click back to the home page. And again, I just used a template, so I'm not doing anything fancy here. But we're going to go get an appointment, and we're going to see where this goes. It's going to go to the next step. So let's actually go to the next step. Go to the appointment booking page. It says that we don't have any forms yet. So there you go. We've got to add our form right here, and we're going to go and we're going to add that opt-in form that we just created. And there you go. That form is now on the website, and this is the site that we're going to be using when we register with A2P. So the idea is going to be, we're going to tell them, people go to this website to opt in for XYZ thing. This is the form that they fill out. This is our consent message, and it has links and access to our privacy policies and our terms of service, which are these URLs. So we're going to be making sure that we have all of that information when we go to register for A2P, which is going to be covered in the next video. So we'll see you guys over there. Make sure that you follow these steps to a T, and make sure that you've got your privacy policy, terms of services, and consent messages on every single funnel page and form survey that you're collecting a phone number in. If you do that, you should be good. You should be off to the races and be ready to go and do the A2P registration. All right, guys, so now you've done all of the legwork. You've got your privacy policy, your terms of use, you've got your forms, your funnels, and I'm actually going to add a new video because calendars are also going to be required to have this on it, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that in the calendar section of this video, but it basically is exactly the same as your forms and surveys. You've got all of the plumbing set up. You're ready to go to start your A2P verification process. So let's walk you through it right now. You're going to go into your settings in the sub account. You're going to go to phone numbers, and then in phone numbers, you're going to go over to Trust Center right here. It's going to tell us that the brand registration hasn't started and the campaign registration hasn't started yet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to click Start Registration Now. Okay. Is this business entity you're registered located in the United States or Canada? In my case, yes, it is. Yes. Does the business you're registering have a tax ID, a US EIN, or a Canadian business number? Yes, I do. And so we're just going to go ahead and click Continue. Legal name. Now you'll notice that this is pulling all of the information from the business profile, which we set up in a previous video right here. All of this information is getting pulled in right here. And so there we go. We've got all of the information for our business, and we can say with confidence that this is correct. But I would, again, just make sure that you go through this and you double check, you verify that everything is in fact correct, that there's no mistakes in the spelling of the legal business name, especially if it's a numbered company or a different type of company. Just double check, verify that everything is correct. It's a corporation. We're using our Canadian business corporate number. We're using our business registration number. Our business industry is online. Business email address is on here as well. And I told you to double check for some things. RM marketing, so that would have failed. Double check absolutely everything. Make sure that the spelling of everything is correct and that your website domain is also correct. So you'll notice that I'm using the website domain that we've been working with in the other videos. So double check, verify all of this stuff is 100% correct. And we are going to go continue. Okay, now we're going to double check and make sure that the business address is correct. And again, this business address needs to match the exact business address as it's spelled on the business registration. If it is not the same, you're going to run into problems. And so I know that this is all blurred out for you guys right now, but you just need to double check and make sure that the spelling, the spacing, the commas, the dashes, everything is in the right place. Because if it's not, you are going to have issues with the business registration portion of the trust center. So now we're going to go and click continue. And now we're just going to verify the authorized representation information as well. And again, guys, you'll notice that all of this information is the exact same as the information that we put over here in the business profile. It is all coming straight across. And so this is where you guys are going to set up this information for the business registration. And there we go. Everything here looks good. Again, double check, make sure that everything is spelled correctly, that the phone numbers are correct. And then we're going to go ahead and click continue. Now, most use cases that you guys are going to be bringing on are going to be low volume standard use cases. If you're sending, up to 6,000 segments per day, this is going to be what you're going to want. If you're doing more than that, you're going to want to register for the high volume campaign. And there is going to be a one-time charge for every single one of the ones that you set up. So there's a $23.95 set up for low volume, and there is a $68.05 set up for high volume. And again, just remember that this is on a per day basis. Now, it's also important to understand that this does not mean 6,000 messages. This means 6,000 message segments. And a message segment is about 160 characters in your text. And so if you can keep your text below 160 characters, it is only going to use one segment per message. If you have, 161, that is now using two segments. So be aware of that when you're creating your text messages, is that the number of segments that are being used is going to be the thing that impacts your low volume. But 90% of the time when we're doing this for our customers, especially if they're just lead gen and we're texting clients, it's low volume is totally fine for this setup. So we're going to click I acknowledge, and that's basically saying, hey, yeah, I know I'm about to be charged $23.95, and I can go ahead and continue from this point on. So we're going to now continue. And now we're going to get into the campaign details. So this is where I want you to go back to the document that we've shared with you guys, and we're going to copy most of this stuff. However, you are going to have to put in your unique information for what the use cases are for the business. And so let's kind of walk through that. Campaign use case is low volume mixed. We're going to add a use case description. So what are we actually doing with this? And guys, you have 4,000 characters available here, and I highly recommend that you use them all. What we've done here is we've put together all of the potential use cases that you might be using. Now, this is basically everything that we use Highlevel for is in these use cases. So we're just going to go from here, online form confirmation, and we're going to go all the way down to the bottom here, and we're going to copy all of this stuff for our use cases, and we're going to come in here and we're going to paste them right in here. Now, I only have 40 characters left, so that's probably good enough right there. All of the use cases that we would potentially use are in here now, and we can kind of continue. Now, what are your sample messages? Your message must include the lead's name, your name, the business name, and opt-out language. Now, you can use dynamic fields in here because they are smart enough to know. Hi, this is owner name from company name. Your consultation is coming up at date and time. Looking forward to helping you. Reply stop to unsubscribe. So this is an example of one type of message that we would be sending. So we're going to come in here and we're going to set that up in here. and that's good enough. And then sample message number 2, we're just going to come here and we're going to grab this and we're going to copy that and we're going to paste it in there. Now, this is also very important. Will these messages potentially include an embedded link? You need to make sure that you say yes or no to that. Most of the time, I recommend that your first message doesn't have a link and your second message does. So an example of that would be, you could send this message right here. Hey, this is owner name. Your consultation's coming up at date and time. We're looking forward to helping you. You can reply, stop, or unsubscribe. And then 5 seconds later, here's a link if you want to reschedule your call. Just split the messages and you're going to have far better results. Is this message going to include phone numbers? So again, if you're going to include your Twilio or LC phone number in there or phone numbers to anybody else, you need to select this message. Does this message include age-gated content? Nope, not for our use cases. Does this message include content related to direct lending or other loan arrangements? No, it does not. So there you go, guys. There is your use cases and your sample messages all put in that form for you. So we're going to click continue. Now, this part is where you're going to have to add some of your own custom flair because I can't template this for you guys. How do leads connect or consent to receive messages from your business? So now this is where you're going to use the website that we built and we set up with the privacy policy and the terms of services. And we're going to give it an example here. So let's go and look at our actual website. And I'm just going to kind of follow along with whatever those guidelines are on this website. So it's business services. And here's your homepage. So let's open this up and take a look at it. So obviously it's more around business consulting. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come over here and we're going to say end users opt into our business consulting services on our website. And then we're going to provide the website. So we're going to come and grab the homepage path URL like so. They fill out our form to book a meeting on, and then we're going to provide the next page, which is if I click this link, I'm going to go to the next page, appointments, and we're going to go back and we're going to let them know which page that they're booking the appointments on. And then we're going to say the form collects name, email, and phone number, as well as a checkbox to opt in to receiving messages. The opt-in language is, and I'm just going to put quotations in here, and I'm literally just going to copy and paste this message right here. And actually what I probably would do if I was doing this for a customer or even myself is that I consent to receive SMS notifications, alerts, and marketing communications from, and then I would put the company name in here. So in this particular use case, it is GHL Mastery, or even better yet, RM Marketing, right? So that's the name of the registered company. Message frequencies vary, message data rates may apply, text help to, and then this is our Twilio number that we're registering with for assistance. You can reply stop to unsubscribe at any time. So again, we're just letting them know this is where people go. This is what people read. This is the consent box that they check in order to submit their information. And we're also going to add to this that we have the privacy policy and terms of service. Privacy policy link. And we're just going to go back over here and we're going to go back to our privacy policy funnel. And we're going to grab this link here. And then terms of service link. Literally, you cannot provide them too much information in these things. So use all of the character limits that you have in these fields here in order to make sure that you cover your butt as much as humanly possible. Okay. Now, again, this is going to be your opt-in message for receiving text messages. Now, this is different from your opt-in language on your form. This is actually going to be the first text message that gets sent to somebody when they opt in. And so literally you could use these exact examples, copy them over here, and you can paste them in here. But they basically need to just say, hey, you've successfully opted in to receive notifications and promotions from, and you got to change the company name here. So we're going to change this to RM Marketing. Please reply stop to opt out in the future. So this message is basically canned, done for you. You're good to go. And then you're done. You can submit your registration application. The first thing that's going to happen is it's going to do and verify your business registration. If that fails, it will not go to the campaign registration. You're going to have to go back and double check to see, did I miss a dash in the address? Did I put the wrong business EIN number or corporate number in there? You're going to have to double check all of the business settings and make sure that they're accurate before you can resubmit. Once your business information is confirmed, it's then going to go and it's going to check your campaign and brand details, which is what we've just filled out here. So this is why I recommend that it's very, very important that you include the links to the different sites, pages. If they're coming through Facebook lead forms, include that information in there, and then include the links to your privacy policy and your terms of use that are on those forms and surveys and things of that nature. But the important part is that they can actually go to this URL right here, and they can see that the form is there, and the form says this, and there's links to our privacy policy, our terms of service, and there is a checkbox. That is really, really important. They have to have a checkbox. It cannot just be text on your form saying that by submitting this, you agree to receive text messages. It has to be a consent checkbox on your forms, surveys, funnels, and websites in order for this to actually get put through. So there you go, guys. That is A2P verification. It can be a bit of a pain in the butt. It can be a bit of a process here, but if you follow this stuff to a T, you shouldn't have any issues. We haven't had any issues since we've been following this process for the last 2 years. So you should be fine. Follow this process, use the resources that we've given you, and get those accounts A2P registered. And then you can start sending text messages to your clients or to your clients' clients, and you are off to the races. We'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, I hope you found that video useful and helpful for you getting your company set up in Highlevel and getting your white label started with the Highlevel ecosystem. Now, if you're just starting out your journey in the Highlevel ecosystem, or maybe you're even an intermediate, or consider yourself an expert that just wants to know a little bit more about the Highlevel platform and how you can leverage it, I would encourage you to go and click the link in the description below this video and hop into our GHL Mastery program. What do we do inside of our GHL Mastery program? Well, we have 5 calls every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, for 2 hours a day, where we actually help you get into your system, help you build, help you troubleshoot, and just overall help elevate your overall skill set on the Highlevel platform. So if you're interested in getting hands-on every single day support, plus a couple of bonus goodies, snapshots, AI systems, the like, then go ahead and click the link below to join our GHL Mastery VIP group. And I promise you, you will learn more in 1 month than you will in 6 months doing this on your own. We will see you in the next one. Take care.